here. Welcome back to the stream where we play non-violent games, games that reward the player for intellectual and or emotional engagement rather than for combat or any other kind of violent accomplishments. We're back with the Great Ace Attorney today. So let's get started without any further ado. 13th of August, 2:38 p.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. Hey, sir! Oh. Hello, sir. It's been a while. Welcome back. Is that better? Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Okay. Okay, great. Good to hear. Good to hear. All right. Yes, hi! It's been a while since you've been here. It's good to see you. Well, see you. Yeah, so let's... Oh, before I forget, thank you to Filthy Maverick for the follow. Quite the name. Okay. Let's go. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruto-san? Don't they, Naruto-san? Susato! Susato! Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there. Hey, and Father. Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've... Oh no, I think I'm going to cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you. Susato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry. We're friends, equals, and the trial's over, so no more of this formal super humility nonsense. Well, we just finished the case. So, we're going on to case number 2 soon. This is just sort of the aftermath. It's time to celebrate with swagger! To throw caution to the wind! Caution to the... what? I'm the great defense lawyer, Naruto Naruto, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something. Right, I see. I'll, think about it, Ray. At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horde man, and it felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying. Yes. Yes. You know, it's, yeah. No, Ray is, Ray's... I think there's maybe a part of her she hasn't quite figured out yet. But I'm rooting for her. There he is. Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anyone else we could throw together?
hope you're not looking at me, Ray.
Oh my goodness, no. Of course not, of course not. There it is at last. Ray's lovely smile.
Hold on. Da-da-da. It's alright, just adjusting. Yeah, that ought to do it. Okay. Sorry about that. Just was adjusting the timers a little bit so they're not quite as quick. Okay.
You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryotaro Naruto. Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryotaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba for now. So, I'll never see him again then? What a terrible shame.
Ray, just ask Susato out. Ask her out.
What?
Oh.
What?
What is happening?
Ah, Saseki-san and Inspector Osunaga. I do hope you've been keeping well. Is that really you? Yes. I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope. But it's me, Susato Mikotoba.
I don't,
So dashing.
so dashing, so divine. No! Doubly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine. Just look at you. Everyone's crushing on Susato. I had no idea, Mr. Susato-san Esquire, that you were locum student Naruto-san's Esquire's cousin. Astonishingly astounding ace attorney.
Oh, Saseki-san. So confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was if an unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. But after Naruto-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Saseki-san was free to return to Japan. And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author. I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea. And I'm the chief inspector of the police bureau, who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less.
I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector.
Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see. Just two, really. And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event. I hope. Oh, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector.
Well, I am a professional, of course.
I do worry about Inspector Osunaga sometimes, I really do. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course. Of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. Though that didn't help you, did it, Cousin Summer? From my perspective, I have to admit I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. Forever.
What do you mean? No, is that quite... It's not quite what he sounds like. Soseki, that is. Let me pull him up. What do you mean? There we go. What do you mean?
I'm talking about the murder that the Englishwoman committed at the end of last year.
Ah, yes. It was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Wait, no. Did I just lose it immediately? Ah, yes. It was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally.
The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer.
Sorry. It's got a lower voice.
On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter with Mr. Herlock Sholmes, the great detective I knew.
Yes.
I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course.
Ah, my arch nemesis. How lightly you utter his name.
Well, according to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. And that man was an exceptional Dr. Jettison. Ugh. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, okay, sorry.
And if that's really true, then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again.
As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born.
Yes, grandmother told me about it.
On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial University, but I also serve another role as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs.
Yes, I was aware of that as well.
In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you.
Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you'd collapsed with a high fever and you were growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I'd like to know. Because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way? Or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of.
Dear me, do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susano? sorry, my dear. I simply can't. Ah! Let me go! No. Him. Ah! Oh, let me go!
Menomino-san. So, one throw wasn't enough for you? I've got one last thing to say before they take me away, Professor.
Me?
I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. And that visiting student's fate.
Visiting student? Visiting student? Giselle Brett, you mean?
No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago.
What? Student of law?
He must mean...
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Student of law. He must mean... Kazuma-san. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-san? Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Ah!
Oh my god! The judge out from behind the thing. I've never seen that before. It feels weird. Like in any of the Ace Attorney games, no judge has ever stepped out from behind his thing. Feels weird. Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. What were you officers playing at?
Terribly sorry, Your Excellency.
I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, and it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him. And I'll be there shortly. The judge with a steel chair? What do you mean?
Oh, Your Excellency.
The trial's over. I'm not your excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku. Yes. And may I saw that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance. Oh, okay, got it. You want to hear something hilarious? So, I have a friend that I made in college, and her nickname is Squish. And, obviously I'm not going to divulge many details about her, but I just learned last night for the first time, because she had that nickname from before I met her, and it turns out, I just asked her last night for the first time, where'd you get the nickname? And apparently it was her wrestling name. And that was completely unexpected. Very funny. And may I, Susato.
Did you know all along, from the start of the trial?
That was not a good... The judge sees everything, Susato. I couldn't let you take the risk. If Seishiro here hadn't known and then he'd recognized you. So I had a word in his ear before, as an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we? Yes. Having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address.
Before you go, Father.
Sorry, my dear, we shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. Well done again, both of you. You did admirably.
Oh, thank you very much.
What did you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I set a man flying like that.
could Father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brett, about Dr. Wilson, and now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-san. I'm going to have to bring this up with Father sometime, when nobody else is around.
Judicial Assistant Mikatoba-san Esquires, could I have a word?
Oh, yes, of course, Soseki-san. What is it?
I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh?
I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England.
This I have to hear. Please, Soseki-san, tell me at once.
I will. As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness Locum Student-San Esquire stepped in. After I secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back out to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikatoba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report.
My father?
He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that I sent a telegram to you asking you to return to Japan.
What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in?
I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in.
Of course, I could never forget.
Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case.
The second one? You mean the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public?
Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first. Well, I don't care. I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. Anyway, point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. That horrific, hideous, heinous case. The case of the haunted lodgings.
Oh, please, sir, you know that in the world of Ace Attorney, if someone isn't directly on screen, they can't hear the conversation unless explicitly stated. That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. I thought that whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
My voice for her is closer to that than I would have expected. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's closer than I would have expected. Yep. The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, than in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
My name is Ranosuke Naruto. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. As it's a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from its slumber, thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. 30th of August, 7:28 a.m., Sholmes' suite. Alright. What was Iris's voice?
Oh, Runo, good. Oh, Runo, good. I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning. Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruto. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear friend. Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, I see. So that's it. Yes, I see. So that's it. The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruto. you have, this very morning, met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, though I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has? And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember? By you.
Hurley pulled your button off?
Ah, yes. I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. Then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. But why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. It's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring.
But Hurley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes is published in Rancid magazine. So, Mr. Dido, why would you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really?
That's right. And she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun!
This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by International Post.
Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She is very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man twice. You know, in those two cases that took place in Briar Road 6 months ago. Ah, the mustache twitching man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache.
He didn't have two mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those two cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. So, what was this startling news penned by Mr. Sutton? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Sato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. That took place half a year ago. For what purpose? Because it was something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh. On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mrs. Sada's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Hurley was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that. Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Jones? About why Mr. Sada was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was. Due to a telegram she received from her homeland. From her homeland, I believe. That's right. Telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. It'd be real funny if all three of them acting like they remember the case and don't want to ask, but none of them do. If all three of them were acting, I assume, if all three of them were acting like they remember the case and don't want to ask. Oh, so if they were acting like they remember the case and don't want to ask, but none of them do. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that? I wonder what Mr. Sada's father is hiding.
Well, do you know what it's all about?
When did you get all that on? When did you change into all those clothes? Well, who could say? What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite collegiate. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley, don't worry. See you later.
He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha! I found them at last.
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case. That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case, but perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit.
So, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue. And I have all the time in the world. Do ya? Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Oh! Oh, I assume that's probably because, you know, we had the whole thing where we kind of exposed potential government secrets. It was 6 months ago. A mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attack her, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. That man was Soseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And, after a grueling trial with many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. Banned from court, like grandfather, like great-great-great-grandson. Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. Susato-san and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. February, 5:30 a.m., St. Bartholomew's Hospital Recovery Ward. There you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. Oh. You're late. What on earth took you so long?
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. That is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I'll try to keep that in mind. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. Oh, sorry. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy, and feeling it was somewhat unjust that High-Blade had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. That's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back.
Her name is... Ah, yes, here we are. Miss Green.
This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it?
I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Nordhaver. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe, used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you'd call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. Look, there's a photograph in this frame here.
Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman. He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say.
Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Nordhaver, I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. Hey, nothing like honesty, I suppose.
That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings.
She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Alright then, let's see what's inside. Change of clothes, no doubt, and...
No, Mr. Marlowe, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
The young maiden might have chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel. There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you are a patient, here, I feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I've no doubt you'd managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mr. Sato. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I didn't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mr. Sato. I mean, also, it's medicine. Listen, I know that, you know, we all talk about how, you know, there's like only the one brain cell and all this stuff, but like, I gotta say, I don't think anyone in the right anything agency, which I still hate that name, it's still a terrible name, or their ancestors are stupid enough to down an entire bottle of medicine. I just don't think they're that dumb. Especially if it's just they're hungry. I just feel like that's... Yeah, I just feel like... Yeah. Anyways.
Eek! A mouse, Mr. Naruto. An enormous mouse.
Vermin in a hospital, that doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we could say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking. This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
He or she is probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. This looks like the patient's treatment note. Let's see. Do not feed. What is this place, a zoo?
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeons. Yes, this is a person. Poor woman, I hope she hasn't read this. Good morning. Hello, I'm Ranosuke Naruto, from the Empire of Japan. Okay, let's give her a voice. Oh no! Was it your knife that... Nope, that's not it. a thing.
So we start up here, which is where I put women. We give her a British accent since she's British. Maybe a little more rough, because it's not quite as she's not like prim and proper. So, and then maybe a little more wrong. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Was it your knife that? Are you the man who? Oh no! Was it your knife that? Are you the man who?
No. I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Nigotoba. Pleased to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? No. I assure you, I'm Mr. Nahara's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come give you our best wishes. Best wishes? For me? Best wishes? For me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist.
No, actually, that's a little better.
I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back.
I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. About the incident. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement, what a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. But the case has been solved, hasn't it? Well, I've been here in hospital.
Indeed it has, my dear madam. Spectacularly by none other than I, Herlock Sholmes.
Is it Mr. Sholmes? As you well know, it was Mr. Nahara's hard work in court that solved the case. Are you yet to hear what happened?
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. Me coming around seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me. Oh, no. We're all so relieved you're on the mend, Miss Green. We really are.
With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts? Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts? Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no. Is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away on the Underground, yeah, and Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Centre. Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, welted by those of inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Mustache. Inferior means, I suppose Sasaki-san does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? She's suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into your young maiden's private affairs.
Oh, damn it. Do forgive me.
If you don't mind, I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh, yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Is there a Mr. Narrowfodder here? A Mr. Narrowfodder? I know he's British, but that just felt like something to say in an American accent. Narrowfodder now. Well, if you're looking for Naruto, the lawyer, that's me. But Mr. Narrowfodder, good. This is for you. It's a message from a Mr. Saucy Nuts Bag.
Mr. Natsume sent a message to me. But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume? Exactly, what's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning?
What are you waiting for? Let me see that.
Oh!
Well, this is most unexpected.
Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes, he says.
Have you not seen this note? No, how could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must upon it once.
Murder?
Call the cab. Time is of the essence.
But the trouble is, I've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note.
I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. It'll be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings. Wait, what?
I'll have Fiacre at once.
It was only yesterday that Sasaki-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address? He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time. But we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. February, 7:18 a.m., Mr. Natsume's lodgings, ground floor. What on earth?
Oh my! The gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Locum student, Mr. Esquire.
Mr. Natsume.
Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only I just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day with this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Woeful worm without wiggle. I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. And not the horrible hairlock shoes. Shoo, shove off, show yourself the door. I never invited you.
Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you? Yeah. Here they are already. The busybodies.
Ah, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise.
Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at crime scene, Jones.
I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food.
Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime. Oh, excuse me, sorry. This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything. Or, good morning to you too, Sunshine.
Okay, let's touch everything.
I said hands off. You're gonna mess up the crime scene.
Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance. I know you're fine. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
Someone's in a bad mood. Yes, certainly some bad ad, isn't it? Alright, sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor. So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he?
Mr. William Shamsbear.
You're kidding me.
Mr. William Shamsbear. He was a lodger, as you can probably tell. He was an actor. Bit of a dead loss as it happened. Or just dead.
Mr. Shamspeare?
It was the landlord, old Mr. Garrett, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. The fella didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garrett got worried and kicked the door down.
But doesn't Mr. Garrett have a bad leg?
Yeah, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
Really? Saseki-san?
The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, no friends. His early acquaintances were people in his house. Miserable life and a miserable end to it.
So, what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene?
Well, I'm not saying it's because the fellow looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious. Well, I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the culprit, go have it, sir.
Why? So much racism. Excuse me. You nearly said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. It certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate.
Anyway, I can't say much until Gordon gets out. Well, I don't think the fellow's been gone that long. Body's still warm.
Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. What a terrible thing to have happened.
It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences. So the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So, did you know the victim? Were you friends? What's the matter with Saseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger, you know, but he did invite me to his room. No, never. But did he invite me to his room? Never. On my honor, I swear. What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruto? When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I said word, asking you to come. Through that inspector over there. Hello, Herlock. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? You need only observe it to know, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally. There's nothing natural about that pose. Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery? Patience, my dear madam, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened. My goodness! But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes? You propose the idea. I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night, in which the victim fought for his life. Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow? No, don't mind me. Forget I was ever here. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense! Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions? No, please, pretend I'm not here. Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant. Impossible to ignore. You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail. But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented to you for your pleasure in 2 acts. We have heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular, Act 1. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Cause of death. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this discontinued room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, which contains, you'll observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap, meaningful indubitably. Why is this soap set so purposefully upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact, yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. He was about to eat soap. That's your deduction? It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life is claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Oh my god. Herlock. What the fricking hell? Now, personally, I have a great interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course.
Seriously? Jesus Christ. Come on, Herlock. That's out there even for you.
Cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we pause at the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? This single teacup is just the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have responded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap, from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on the way to the hereafter. No possible perpetrator present. Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. There's, just one thing, Mr. Sholmes. You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Edgar? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. How extraordinary. In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. And did it? As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilt the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. Jesus Christ. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did. There's something that troubles me here. Troubles me as well, actually. Oh, what's that? It's Mr. Natsume. Ah! I couldn't help notice him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. It almost as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched a nerve center. No, nonsense! Ah! Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some mental corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise but Hillock shows his logic and reasoning spectacular Act 1. Alright. Give it a little bit of light. Foam in the mouth, seized, clearly indicates a piece of poison. Next to the victim, you know, a dying blade, which is to observe. One half of the size of a bar of soap, meaningful indubitably. Why is this soap sit so perfectly on the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact, yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals the answer. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I would prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap? Do you think he was drinking tea with his soap? The cup's empty, so there's no way of knowing. Ah, how about this for an idea? Perhaps the cup was full of water, and he was dissolving soap in it so he could gulp down as much as possible. Please remember that he may not actually have been the soap lover that he's been made out to be. I suppose you'd eat soap with a fork, would you? I don't think it's a question of which implement you use. You shouldn't eat soap, full stop. But then why? Why does the man have a fork in his hand? Oh dear. I understand your frustrations, Mother. Please don't take it out on me. The point is, if we decide the man used this fork to eat the soap, we wouldn't be changing Mr. Shoulder's deduction. So we really ought to consider some other clues. Other piece of soap. Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamsir must have really loved this stuff. Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Miller. Look closer at this soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table? What the? How can that be? I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart. I suppose... Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. So, then...
Take that!
There we go. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Otto, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. The London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison to take the contents of his purse. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument, then. Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it. If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it?
Take that!
Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it will appear that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2. We pause the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? This single teacup could suggest the answer. Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far. Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shakespeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it. There's more to this deduction than it seems. We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for more clues. It's another Western vessel for... It's a teacup! And it too is empty. Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand, we can assume that this is the cup from which Mr. Shamsir was actually drinking. But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we've deduced up to now is turned on its head. I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel.
Take that!
Oh, whoops, sorry. Oh, just a single glance is all it takes. You can plainly see this lone hero lying upside on the table. The same as the victim who died alone, having consumed the poison it contained. This is odd, Hello. With that answer, you haven't righted my reasoning in any way. Oh, yes, that's true. As a logician, you will never surpass me. The science of deduction and analysis requires long and patient study. I'm several steps ahead of you, and your attempts to correct me serve only to highlight your deficiencies. This is what you get for agreeing with someone? I need to reconsider my answer, though. Yeah, my bad.
It's crucial that we determine whether or not there was somebody else present at the time of death. It will tell us if this was a murder or suicide.
Yes, and while the argument with the presence of a single teacup shows he was alone is important, we need to make sure we look at this room from all angles.
Take that!
Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were two teacups in this room all along. Ah, in other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. At the very least, we can say now with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. Strong conclusion on such big evidence would be foolish, however. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know exactly who was in this room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much celery.
But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you could try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Narlow. Mr. Narlow.
Oh, I suppose not. Time to look around again.
Oh dear, the latch is most definitely broken, isn't it? The door was kicked in by Mr. Natsume, according to what Mr. Garrett told the inspector.
Who knew his short, thin legs had so much strength in them?
I'm not sure the length of his legs is in any way significant here.
Perhaps this is more about the poor safety of the door than Mr. Natsume's strength, actually.
Careful, if he overheard that remark, he'd almost certainly have a lively response.
I don't know. Can this broken lock really tell us anything about who was here?
makes you think, doesn't it? It makes me think that you're full of hot air. We should be thinking about what was in the room at the time.
Father, Salazar's flippant response was cleverer than my original riddle. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read Picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
Lecoq? No, that's not it. It's definitely not Lecoq, right?
The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq, Canterbury Yearnings, and A Meal for Gabaret.
Wait. I'm sure I've heard those titles before.
It could be just an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
What? Yes. Oh, the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss being stabbed. Saseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right.
And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
And Miss Natsume claims never to have been here before.
What does this mean, do you think? I really don't know what to make of it.
Take that!
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of ruins. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books.
Quite so. It's no coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth.
Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop.
That's just a coincidence. In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles for you. Oh no, maybe not. This very moment.
Never, non-negotiable.
If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours.
Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned them.
You know, as we could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning.
And that same night, the victim had a visitor.
And that visitor
was you, Mr. Saseki Natsume.
This concludes the final act of Elaksham's great deduction.
Oh. Not again, not again, not again! Not again! Well, Miss Natsume, it would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard. Again. But wait! Hold your horses! Yes? Door! Key! Locked! Entry! Exit! Entirely impossible! Self-philosophy is being even stranger than normal. What, you think it's an alibi? You could have just been a copy. Why? You live in the same building after all. You've had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. You've had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But misery me! Sorry, sir. We'll get you a chance to give your side of the story later.
The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache.
You horrible Herlock Sholmes! He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he? Come on now, no dilly-dallying. I'm sorry, there's a carriage waiting.
Look, Mr. Otto Esquire.
I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You have to help me! Please, please! I'm innocent! Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. And one more, Dean! Oh, yes? Come on, my poor little King Gap. Please give him his breakfast for me! And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken, Soseki-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now.
Yes, that's right. Oh, and of course...
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garridev, who discovered Mr. Shamspeare.
Ah, Mr. John Derget. John Garridev, yes.
I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor, as usual.
Right. We must remember to go and talk to him later, then. Look at these extravagant, bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady goings-on.
This one looks like a king's attire.
A king? I've always dreamt of being a king.
Oh, I think you'd be more suited to a feudal lord, a daimyo or such like.
Would a chonmage top knot? Every Japanese man wishes he had a chonmage. I don't know.
Oh, you'd look wonderful with one. And you already have the sword.
Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a chonmage and a sword? I can. I don't think it'd be anything good.
There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. And both of them are cracked.
Yes, not much use, are they?
What's the matter? Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all.
Prosecutor Lord Van Zeeks?
Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the movie.
You can suggest it next time we meet. Good luck.
As we've seen from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay.
What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had in property? It's extraordinary.
It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh!
What is it, Mr. Sato?
If you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose.
Ah, yes. Looks as though an amateur has broken out a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shamspeare who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room.
Oh, look at this, Mr. Madhead. On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it.
What, outside? Oh, whoops. I meant to do, next to it.
It's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap.
It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is it on the ledge out there?
What are those snow-covered lumps? It's more bars of soap.
Soap? What are bars with soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window?
I have no idea. But the pair of them look rather charming like that.
Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window? I think perhaps we should take one. There are two, after all.
Oh dear. I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here, this soap.
Ah!
Do you see? In the middle there, there's a patch that's a different color. It's
sort of transparent, but some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain.
It looks like the Hinamura flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful.
It's probably a very expensive brand. Expensive? What's it doing in the ramshackle room? Our soap has been entered into the court record. And here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind.
This is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins.
Ah, I see. Yes, now you pointed it out. I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here...
That's right. It would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating.
So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold?
Yes. Or if you were scatterbrained with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall.
Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas.
Now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they?
Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there.
Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much cozier.
Oh, the poor man. So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was?
I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder, do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer would help a British song?
Sorry?
I made sure I had a reference at the ready for just such an occasion as this, actually. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment.
There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there?
What's this?
Looks like part of an envelope, I think.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened. Is that significant? Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter or the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there? Ah, she's right. And yet here we have the torn-off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. We better take this just in case.
This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it?
Where does the audience sit, though, from the nightly Shakespeare performances?
Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Leonardo, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office.
What?
Then you could practice your art every single day.
I'll think about it if you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge.
Well, if that would help you achieve your goal.
This I have to see. Seems like that's everything. Not. Yep, that seems to be everything, as far as I can tell. Oh, I feel we need to spend a little more time investigating here. Okay, fine.
exquisite design, isn't it?
Trust the British to turn a boring bar of soap into something special.
I quite like it. It reminds me of the Hanamaru design of the Japanese flag. I expect it's a rather expensive set.
That doesn't seem likely given who it belongs to. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a leather opener or scissors, did they?
Yes, whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of the ripping, the person in question must have been right-handed. Miss Hisato, I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of the Avengers of Sherlock Jones. You could never read too much of it, Naruto. Never!
More time investigating here. So what have I missed? I don't know what I haven't clicked on yet. Well, we can come back in a bit. 21st of February, Briar Road.
There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Gavin residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment, in fact.
That one seems very warped, though. Especially the front wheel. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think?
No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. With the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly affected.
Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsumi has been practicing on this bicycle, I think.
Oh dear, I fear you may be right.
With the exception of the top floor where Mr. and Mrs. Garrett live, all the windows are bricked up.
Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows a property had. In order to pay less tax, the poor members of society filled in many of their windows.
But the tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again shortly.
Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done.
Yes, that is a sad state of affairs.
Especially for people like poor Mrs. Natsume, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room.
I suppose that's the price you pay for living in very cheap accommodation.
It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that.
Yeah, no kidding. very shitty. The Gyaradev household and Mr. Natsumi's lodgings are in a prominent position here. They're on the corner. Sometimes when I look at the building, I can't help feeling that it's at a bit of a slant. It does rather look as though it would collapse in even the smallest earthquake, doesn't it? And isn't it supposed to be haunted as well? I think I might have a hunch as to why Saseki-san is such a hunchback. London's blanketed in fog again today, and the sky is covered in clouds. If you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower being built.
Ah, the Crystal Tower, yes. The centerpiece of the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time.
Everyone's talking about the great exhibition of London at the moment, it seems.
Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself.
Do you think visiting students from the Far East like us will be granted entry?
The last great exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time the British are determined to make it an even bigger success to outdo the Paris exhibition.
I see, that's an incredible number of people. And with so many people excited to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed.
There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Narada.
Why has somebody built this snowman on some sort of pedestal, do you think?
It's not a pedestal, Mr. Narada. Mr. Narada, that's part of the snowman's body.
Really? It already has a perfectly good body.
Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made with 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this was a form.
And now we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man, I know how he feels.
If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowmen that are the strange ones, isn't it? After all, real people do have 3 sections: head, torso, and legs.
Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much? Yes, I do. All the time. February, the Gyarados room. Sorry, I thought I was going to say Gyarados residence, but it's the Gyarados room. Here we are again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Gyarados is the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't forget.
Ah, you chaps, eh? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation at court yesterday. No, that's not quite. Gyarados. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Gyarados as anyone, really. Came straight back out after all that business at the fair yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bolly nonsense this morning.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Gyarados.
Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about the dead loss of an actor chap on the ground floor. Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? This morning's incident. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened. Ah, well, how do you not get just so much ash in your tea when you stir with your pipe? So gross. Yeah, well. I don't know. I think it's gross to just smoke a pipe, so who knows? Ah, well, that hopeless Japanese chapter to the chronologue, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? Man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Mr. Naruto. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning.
Well, you know, better to be safe than sorry, and all that. Is it just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden?
Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door.
The victim's name is Mr. Shamsphere, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shamsphere. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone offering to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bully screw loose. So hard to choose which categories Seki-san will fall into. I mean, you can fall into both.
Mr. Naruto, that's a little rude.
He was doing research as well.
Research? Into what?
Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that.
Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated.
It seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sao, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually, weren't there?
Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shamsphere would have much in common.
Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that.
Mr. Naruto, really, how rude.
Alright, I'm exhausted from 2 hours of voice acting, so I'm gonna wrap up there. It's about the 2-hour mark. And, let's see if maybe we could raid someone. Maybe. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. I had a great time. Thanks for sticking around, Sarah. And I will see you guys on Saturday for more of